Okay, so we're back at it here. Today we're going to finish off the bathroom. There's some tricky shapes in there that we'll have to create. Um, yeah, and we'll basically finish off the finer details here. Okay, so first thing, I'm taking a look here. I can see the tub. There's a line that goes right across these walls. I know that the typical width of a tub is 32 inches. So I'm going to click here, shoot down this way. I'm going to type 32 inches and shoot that across. I'm also going to do the same thing I did with the sink on the other side there, where I had to extend the sill, like I just did there. So there's this rounded tub shape inside here that we have to create. There's always a couple ways that you can do the same or accomplish the same thing in AutoCAD. So you could just use circles and then lines attached and get rid of partial circles. I'm just going to use a square or a rectangle rather, and I'm going to round the corners with the fillet tool that we used the other day there. So what I want to do here is find the center of this tub to find some points that I'm going to start creating the midpoints of the rectangle on. Just going to turn on midpoint here. And grab my line tool. And I'm going to find the midpoint, shoot it across. The reason I did that is I need to center this rectangle within that space, that inner shape that I'm creating. So I just found the center of these 2 points here. All right, so I'm just going to start building out from the edges here to create kind of where the rectangle would stop, so kind of the apex of that curve right there. So I'm just going to shoot out, I guess probably 5 inches. Shoot a line down. Start here, 5 inches. Shoot a line down. Okay. That would be the front edges of the tub. Now I'm going to create a horizontal line going across here, and I'm going to do the same thing, 5 inches and over 5 inches. So I'm really creating an offset rectangle 5 inches inside the previous one. I'm going to start trimming up these lines here. There we go. So there's my inner rectangle. I'm going to use the fillet tool here. I'm going to set the radius here first. I'm going to try maybe an 8-inch. Yeah, so that's not bad. And I'm just going to repeat that by clicking 2 corners like we did with the previous shape in the kitchen earlier. There we go. There's the inner tub shape. Last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to create the drain just like we had to do for the sink over here. I'm just going to use my guides here, so just hovering over these points and finding the center there. And I guess I'm going to go maybe 3 inches here. That's a little big. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Straight to better. Okay, so there's the tub there. There's the toilet. Then there's a smaller sink over here that we have to create as well. What I'm going to do, just to make sure I have enough space for these 2 objects, is just kind of block in the areas that they're going to occupy. So to do that, I'm going to use a rectangle. Now, I don't think I've used this previously, but basically you have to click 2 points. That point right there, that first little blue dot there, and that second blue dot there. So I'm just going to zoom in here, and so I'm looking at a sink here, and you can see that when you use the rectangle tool, you get 2 boxes now that you can change the dimensions of. And to change between those 2 boxes, you want to press the tab key. But the size that I'm going to put here, just going to make it a little bit bigger, closer to the wall there. So I think I'm going to go 2 feet wide there in that vertical dimension. And we'll go 32 is didn't enter right. Oops. I'm just going to size this down. Okay, so there's the shape that I'm going to use for the sink. I'm just going to offset this, just to do it quickly. Offset. Click here. And you can see very easy, I can just select the size of the sink or the basin that I'm going to create. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to move it a little bit closer to the edge. And then I'm going to create a front line here, very similar to the sink over here. Last thing, toilet. Okay, now I guess the last thing I forgot to do here is I'm going to fillet these corners. 8 inches is a little bit big, so I'm going to turn it down maybe to 4. I'm going to do the same thing here for this rectangle I created. I'm just going to move it slightly. A little bit too much. And then I'm just going to fillet the corners like I did previously. That's a little bit too much. Turn it down a little bit. 2 inches. So I just filleted the corners there. Again, that's a 4-inch radius that I used. And last thing, have to create the toilet. Okay, so I'm going to round it out a little bit. The front here, I'm going to make that a little bit rounder than you can see here, and I'm just going to use a rectangle there. So again, I'm going to use Draw, Rectangle tool. I'm going to space it out from the wall just a little bit. I was checking the dimensions here. So I got 1 foot. Okay, and then I'm going to create a circle here to start. And then what I'm going to do... Okay, so we're going to have to do this a slightly different way than we would if we were using the original version of AutoCAD or the full version. So I'm going to use the line tool. I'm going to come off the center of the tank here. I'm going to go, let's say 17 inches. I'm going to create a circle that's on the midpoint there, and I'm going to go, let's put 7 inches. That's a little bit big, so I'm just going to shrink it down. Let's go maybe 5. Better. Now I'm going to use the line tool and an object snap called quadrant right here. And what you do is you turn that on, you click here, point to the tank here. I'm going to press Tab, type 170 for the degree of the angle. Draw that line in. I'm going to mirror this, so I'm going to click Modify, click here, mirror, and then specify points on the mirror line. Click, erase source object, no. Now I'm going to use trim, quickly trim this stuff up. There we go. There's the toilet. So last thing that we need to put on is dimensions. Okay, I already had some on here. Very easy to do. Click annotate, click dimension. We're just going to put the overall dimensions. You're going to click this corner, drag out, this corner, whoops, this point, there. Now you can see my dimensions. When you try this the first time, you'll probably have a really, really small dimension. It's going to look something probably like this. Be very hard to read. It'll just look like a bunch of dots. You can't see any of these extension lines. So that's what you're going to need to fix. Just to show how you do that is you'd click on one of the dimensions. You would then make sure that you've clicked on your Properties tab, which is this one right here. And in dim style, there's a couple different settings, and you want to use Architectural 6. And that sets it to the correct size. So we have overall dimensions here. Of course, you could add text if you wanted to, such as a text great room, etc. You'd just click the M text here, and you'd create a little box like I'm doing. And I'm going to type porch. Click the arrow. Now we have the same problems here that you would have with the dimensions. So we need to change that size. And again, there's a couple different sizes that we can set it to. Oh, whoops. And I was setting the text style when I actually want to be setting the size. So to do that, we're going to have to use the line type scale, which is not working, unfortunately, here. So it looks like we will not be able to do our text height, I guess, but I cannot change that. That's interesting. So we're not going to be doing that then. So once you have that completed, what we can do is we can print it to a PDF. Very easy to do. Click this. This is how you're going to hand it in. And I'm going to click the print there. I'm going to select portrait because, well, that's what I have on my screen. That's the dimensions of the specific drawing. Plot to PDF. It's going to generate it in a second here. A blue link will pop up. There we go. Click on that. It's going to download. So here's mine right here, how it printed. It doesn't fit the page really the best it should, although everything that I would need to see would be on here to evaluate it. So that's, yeah, that's fine. So that drawing there, you could just right-click, Save As. You'd want to save it to some location that you're aware of so that you can then go onto Google Classroom or just send me that file through email. All right. So that's it for the floor plan. We've gone through the various tools that allow you to create this. You'll probably have a very good grasp of the essential parts of the program at this point, and we will continue moving forward. I will see you in the next video.